Russ. Yeah, back out on the road again. Where are we riding to today, and what are we riding? Yeah, this is the Himiway. The Himiway D7. Yeah. Decided to take the bike out again. It's a nice day today. I think they said the weather was 76 degrees. Now that's not going to stay. Tomorrow it drops into the 60s. Might rain too, they said. So have to take advantage of the weather when we can, right? So what are we doing with this this D7? Well, got to find out how the range goes on it. Yep. Got to do a range test on it. Now let me give you some background on the Himiway products here. I did a range test on the Himiway Zebra. This was, how long have I had the Zebra for now? Has it been a year and a half? 2 years? I don't know how long it's been. It's been a while, right? And I think at the time when they gave me the Zebra, it was the one bike at that time that went the farthest of, I think, all of the bikes. I don't know if that's been superseded yet or not, but if it isn't, it's within the first or second range. And it always surprised me because the Zebra, as you know, is a fairly big bike, right? Well, it's the same thing kind of like this D7 is kind of big too, you know, and has a, you know, capacity of like 400 pounds if you're that heavy. So my original thinking was, there's no way this thing's gonna give me decent range. But it did, yeah. And I think the reason was because it had a 20 amp hour battery in there. It's a 48 volt 20 amp hour battery. And I think at that time I didn't have too many 20 amp hour battery bikes that had, you know, stock battery at that range. Nowadays we get quite a few batteries in bikes that are in the 20 amp hour ranges, but still I was impressed because, you know, it's a big and heavy bike, and I think it did like 30 miles for me. Now you might say that's not really that big, some people get more. Well, you have to remember too, at that time I weighed around 268 pounds. So, yeah, I'm a heavy rider, right? And then I throttle a lot and all sorts of stuff. So, to get 30 miles out of that was actually really good. So what about this bike, the D7? Well, we have some changes happening here. As you know, I've dropped, I think as of today, around 32 pounds, something like that. It kind of goes up and down a pound or two, you know that. I've already said this before in the past. I'm going to take a left here. And but I'm 32 pounds down today. But here's what's different about it too. I have in the back of this particular bike a second battery. Yeah, it's sitting on the rear rack. And when we get to our location, I'll show you how I did it. I'll just take a picture, show it up here so you can see it. I'm not going to hop off the bike to record that right now. So I'll show you a picture of what it looks like with the battery. Now, as you know, I decided to carry a toolbox and put the batteries inside the toolbox. Now, you may say, well, that's a really big toolbox. Is a battery that big? No, it's not. It's not that big, but it's big enough. And so you need a box that will fit that. And of course, I want to make sure that the box will fit other batteries from other bikes as well. I mean, I'm not going to buy a separate size box for every bike company, right? So one box fit all. And the nice part is the box has this upper compartment that you can put some tools and things like that in there. And then when you need the second battery, you just lift that upper compartment out. It has a handle. Take that out, take the tools out of there, and then you have full access to the second battery. Take out your old battery, put in the new battery, you know, that type of thing. So now, I had mentioned before that you should put some foam padding in the box, you know, to protect the batteries from bouncing around in the toolbox. But this particular battery actually had, what would you call that? Air cushioned plastic. You know what I'm talking about? You know, they kind of encased the battery in this air cushioning bag. It's not, well, it's kind of like a bag, I guess. And it was pretty heavy duty. I said, you know, it came that way. Why not just stick the whole bag in there with the air cushioning? I think that would be even better. So that's what's in there right now. So where did I get this second battery? It's the second battery they gave me for the Zebra. Because I did find out that the battery for the Zebra is the same battery for this D7. So here's an interesting thing. I have a battery for this bike, I have a battery for the Zebra, and I have a spare battery. Now, if I really wanted to go someplace far and carry 2 batteries in addition to the one I'm riding on, meaning a total of 3 batteries, I could technically do that. Yeah, I don't know whether it would fit inside the box. I'd have to try it out. I'm sure it would fit if I took the top upper compartment of the toolbox out. I know for a fact it would fit it then, and then just figure some way to put the 2 batteries in there, you know, kind of stack one on top of the other, put some foam padding between them, something like that. Yeah, now that would add weight to the bike, right? And that's why I'm bringing it up right now, because even though I lost 32 pounds, we have to add back the weight of that additional battery sitting in the box in the back. Now, I don't know how much it weighs. I'll weigh it when I get home. Put a graphic up here, let you know how much it weighs. But let's guesstimate 11 pounds, 12 pounds for the battery. I don't know. I'm just guessing right now. And then the weight of the box. How heavy is the box? Pound or 2 pounds maybe? I don't know. I mean, it's a plastic box. So really, you have to look at the weight that's on this bike now is what did I say? I was 236 plus, let's say, another 12 pounds. So what does that bring us to? About 250 pounds. Yeah, between the battery and myself. Now, think about it. The test that we took the Zebra on, I weigh about 268. So we're not off by that much. We're actually less weight now with the battery and me than we were when we were on the Zebra, right? So with that in mind, let's see how well this battery will last us. Now, I'm heading towards Bussy Woods. We did Bussy Woods about a week or so ago, but I didn't go too far into Bussy Woods because at that time with the bike that I was using to get there, I didn't have a second battery. Well, I brought a second battery here, so that's why I figured I'm going to go into Bussy Woods this time and check it out. Now, I don't know whether I will show you everything of this ride or not, but we'll show more of the Bussy Woods when we get in there. So I may ride to a certain point and then edit and show you the stuff when we get inside Bussy Woods, all right? Because I think it'd be more interesting when we're there. So here's how we're doing this this test, all right? It's kind of similar to how we've been doing all the other tests before. I'm going to try to keep our speed, let's say between 15 and 18 miles per hour. I'm not going to go any faster than that if I can help it, unless I absolutely have to. I usually only do that if I'm crossing intersections or something that I have to get through real quickly. And when we're at Bussy, we're going to maintain the 15 mile per hour speed limit that they have there. All right. Now, I have the GPS on to get me to Bussy. As you know, sometimes I don't remember how to get there too well. So the GPS does help me out here. So it's on my phone. I'm using the Apple Maps system to get me there. Now, I don't follow everything exactly the way it tells me to get there. I remember certain things, but when I don't, you know, the map is there for me.
At the stop sign, turn left onto the shared path.
Now remember too that this is a torque censored bike, and so if I pedal harder, we go faster. If I don't pedal harder, we don't go as fast. It's just the way it works out, right? I usually throttle to get started from a dead stop, and then I'll either feather back to about 15 miles an hour, roughly, or I will start pedaling and trying to stay within 15 miles per hour. So let me see, where's my pedal assist set for here? I had it at 1, 2, let's see, 3. Let's put it at pedal assist level 3. And it'll help me if it needs to. Let's see, if I do 4, is that too much for me? Yeah, we'll leave it at 3, okay? And we had charged the battery up before we left. And I did remember to reset the trip meter this time. So we'll know this time, okay? All right. So I'll pedal for a certain amount, and then I'll throttle for a certain amount. Now the last mileage test I did on another brand's bike, I throttled for about 80% of the time and pedaled for about 20. I will likely probably do the same thing this time for this bike. So while my knee and my leg is getting better, and my health is a little bit better, I still don't have the stamina to have to pedal the entire time. I can't do it. In time, maybe, you know, maybe I'll get better at that. But right now, I could only pedal so much before I tire out or I start huffing and puffing. And now, in general, as we know, if you pedal more than you throttle, your mileage will get better. Yeah, you'll get better range. If you weigh less, you get better range. If you don't have to go up hills, you usually will get better range. Okay, I'm gonna go. I know that guy is looking to go, but I don't want to hop off the bike and he's slowing down. So he saw me going, so he started slowing down some more, so I took it. No comments on that kind of stuff. We got to do what we got to do, right? All right. So here's an interesting thing I want to let you guys know. Now, I don't know whether they have already started yet or not, but I have invited Himiway to make comments in our comment sections whenever I ride a Himiway bike, all right? And they're willing to do that. The only thing I told them to do is to identify themselves as a representative of Himiway if they want to answer anything that's inside the comment section of our videos. On videos that I ride, whenever I ride a Himiway bike. All right, I figured that'd be kind of a nice thing to do. Now, if they answer questions you might have in the comments, you know, welcome them aboard, of course. And they've said they've always been impressed that I've had correspondence with people who comment on my videos, and they wanted to know if it was okay if they joined in. I said, yeah, that's absolutely fine. I says, I'm sure that the viewers and subscribers would welcome having a factory person answer a question here or there. So I don't know who would be doing this, or whether they'll even do it. But make them feel welcome if they have responses or even questions to you within the comment sections. But I figured this would be a good opportunity for the viewers to interact with some of the manufacturers. And so Himiway said, yeah, we'd see if we can do that. So yeah, welcome them aboard if they do. And if you have specific questions about, you know, e-bikes in general, or specific questions about Himiway products, this would be a good opportunity to do it. So we'll see how it goes. I don't know whether they'll participate in everything, but I told them I would let them know a day in advance before the video comes out. I told them typically my videos for e-bikes are Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, as you all know. But I'll let them know that, hey, you know, hey, I'm riding a Himiway bike on this next video. That way they will know. Now, keep in mind, too, they may not be able to answer right away. Because, you know, I mean, if they're from the factory even, or wherever, I don't know who would be answering where they are, but those guys will be in China, right? So while we're sleeping, they're awake, okay? Just kind of remember that. So they may not necessarily answer your questions right away. But, you know, the thing is when you answer a question on any of the comments in the YouTube sections, Everyone's really slowed down here. I don't know what happened, but nobody was moving. So I figured I better slow down and look before I go. So just know that it may take a while before you get a response. But I think whenever you answer a question in the comment section, whoever originally posted, it'll send a message to them saying somebody answered your question or something like that, right? I think that's what happens. So that's that. So welcome Himiway to our comment section if you want to do it, right? All right, we'll have to pass through here. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to sign off for now. I'll edit at this point, and then we'll turn ourselves back on when we're actually in Bussy Woods. All right? Talk to you guys in a moment. All right, I'm back. Yeah, we're at Bussy Woods now. What are we doing for mileage so far? I'm at 9.3 miles in already. Our battery meter still shows 5 bars out of 5. I've been riding mostly between, I'd say about 15 to 18 miles per hour. Although I did have about 3 blocks worth of going 28 miles an hour because I was on a major street, had to kind of compete with the traffic there. But other than that, it's been low speeds, okay? So, based on this data, let's estimate 10 miles to get here, 10 miles to get back. That's 20 miles. And then I believe Bussy Woods goes around in a circle for about 12 miles. So you need to have a battery power that will do at least 32 miles from where I start to where I get back home in order to ride the entire Bussy Woods once through and get back with enough battery. This is why I feel that I always need that second battery, because let's say this bike does 30 miles, because the Zebra did around 30 miles, I believe. I'd be pedaling the last 2 miles. You see what I'm saying? So you got to always remember that you got to calculate what you're going to do, how far is it going to take you to get there, how far is it going to take you to get back, how much are you going to ride around in that area, add up those totals, and that's on a conservative speed, right? If you ride fast, if you don't ride consistently, if you're going up and down hills, that's going to cut into your mileage. Yeah, so your range is never going to be as good that way. Now, some people have mentioned, and this will be some talking points for you guys, that sometimes you buy a bike that has more torque, not necessarily that you're interested in going for speeds or anything like that. You're more interested in, like I had an electric scooter. Yeah, electric skateboard, I should say. Yeah, I could see the motor on it. But sometimes he said that you buy these things not necessarily for speed, but for the ability to climb hills. That I understand. That I fully understand. You want a torquey bike that has enough torque to get you up and down the hills. That would be a smart decision. Here in my area, Illinois area, well, at least in this general area, suburbs of Chicago, Illinois. Our roads are fairly flat. I mean, if we go on paths like this, sometimes you get some hills that go up, go down a little bit, but they're not drastic, right? So we don't really have the kind of problems that other people might have that have really hilly areas. So yeah, everyone has to make their decisions on what they buy based on how they ride and where they go and all that. Now remember, the D7 obviously can handle trails with no problems at all. And I took it because, first off, I was interested in the front and rear suspension. This is suspension that is air suspension. It's not spring-loaded suspension on both front and back, right? Now, the one thing I didn't show you on the first video, what I probably should have shown you, was a couple things. First off, I should have probably shown you that you could adjust the air suspension on the back. There's a little flip switch there. There's a blue, I think a blue and a red switch, going from memory now. Trying to picture it in my mind. It's below me right now, so I can't look at it. But if you move that blue switch, you get more suspension. If you move it the other way, you get less. And I know the suspension's working because I can feel it. I have right up next to my butt that toolbox, all right? And every time I hit a bump, I can feel my suspension moving up and down, and my butt is touching that toolbox, so I can know that I'm going up and down. It's actually kind of funny because, you know, until that box was there, I didn't realize how often my suspension's actually working for me. Now, I'm a pretty heavy guy, as you know. I'm what did I say I was? 236 pounds right now, something like that, right? So whenever it compresses more for me than someone who's lighter in weight. But the nice part is, because it is an air suspension system, you could lower the air in there and make it more bouncy if you're light in weight. Or you can increase the air if you want. Hold on for a second here. If you're really heavy, you can increase the air in there to make up for that extra weight. Now, I have not messed with the air suspension. I've left it at factory setting, but I do have it at the bouncier mode in the back right now, and I could feel it. Yeah, I could definitely feel it, because I can feel it. I can feel my butt hitting the toolbox more every time I go down a little bit because of the bounce. It's kind of cool, actually. That lady had a dog inside her front basket. The dog, I think, had sunglasses on. I'll have to check the video again to see if in fact it was. I think it was. Maybe my mind is playing games on me, but I don't think so. I think that dog had sunglasses on. I know she did. Maybe the dog did. I'll check it. Hopefully I'll remember. Sometimes I tell you guys I'm going to check things and then I forget to do it. So anyways, back to the air suspension. There are things that you can buy. I think you can buy it on Amazon too. I haven't searched it yet. But if you mess with the air suspension thing, you need a different type of pump to do it. It has to be able to pump up, like, I don't know what it said, like 300 pounds per square inch or something. I don't know what it is, but it's a lot more than your typical bicycle pump, okay? So look for those things. And I think one I saw was maybe around $39 or something. It was on another website. It was not on it wasn't on the Amazon site. I just happened to notice it while looking through different people's websites, different companies' websites. I think they were selling it for around $39, something like that. But I think you have to pump it yourself. So really, but how often do you pump that up? I mean, you probably pump it a couple of times and try to fine tune it to the way that you like it, and then you probably never touch it again, unless, you know, for some reason you want to change it. So maybe a manual pump is probably okay for that. I mean, for bicycle tires, yeah, you pump that quite often. You do it quite often just to double check that you haven't lost air or anything like that. And usually several times a season, I will check my tires on each of the bikes. I mean, I used to do it on every single ride that I went out, but I took the bikes out so often that sometimes I didn't need to. But and I'll find it's down a pound or two or something like that. So keeping your tire pressures good is important. Now, for these tires, I happen to pump them up to 22 pounds of pressure. More often than not, I usually have my fat tire bikes pumped up to about 20 pounds of pressure. And so you want to make sure that you have a certain amount of pressure. If it's too low, you know, obviously you get a cushier ride, but it does eat into your mileage. On your left. Just want to make sure I get through people there without any problems. So I mentioned before that we'll probably fish Bussy Woods this year. A couple friends of mine and I will do it. Now some of you guys have said take the fishing rods with you. I had debated about doing that. Yes. Ride here, meet the people over here. I have two friends who fish with me. Meet them here and just ride here on the bike rather than taking the car. But here's the problem that I saw with that is, first off, it's the mileage issue again. But again, we're not going around Bussy Woods. We just probably come up to this general area where the water is. This is usually where the general area we fish at. This is about 12 miles at this point right here. So I need at least 24 miles to get there and get back. That's possible. So maybe I could do it on one battery. But I would definitely have to strap on. I would have to strap on my my tackle box. It has all my fishing stuff in there. Then I'd have to rig up something to carry the fishing rods and reels and stuff in there. The fish out of here, if I catch something, I would release it. I don't think I would eat these fish out of here. I guess some people do, but I wouldn't. I think the only fish we typically eat is if we catch salmon out of Lake Michigan, something like that. And yeah, I'll show you a picture of one of the big salmons. I've caught a number of fish out of Lake Michigan over the years. But this one was particularly the large one. I have a video on it too. If you search the Russ is Right videos and just search for, we'll take a left on this side. Just search for, I don't know, fishing, Russ is Right fishing or something like that. You probably would find it. So you can see me catching that fish. Guys are power walking. Now if you hear any noises, that's because the toolbox is bouncing a little bit, but I do have it strapped down pretty well. I kind of like, okay, here, this area here we fished before off to the left. There's some guys fishing there now. I have it strapped down pretty good, but of course, if you hit a big enough bump, it's gonna make that little bouncing noise. And of course, whatever's inside the toolbox. I did bring some tools. I left it on the top section, this top upper compartment section, and then I got the battery inside that bubbled bag. It's inside on the bottom. I see that we're down 1 bar now on our battery meter. And we're sitting at 12.6 miles. Now you can't correlate, oh, 1 bar is 12 miles. You can't say that, all right? Because those things can change any given time. Now, one thing I really wanted to do is carry that second battery, because if I push this thing to where this thing will either start blinking on me, or I don't know what the response of this bike will be when we hit running out of battery power. But the main thing I wanted to make sure I did is I didn't want to pedal this thing all back by myself wherever it leaves me at, okay? So I wanted to be able to go someplace, do what I want to do, and then have another battery with me to swap out. And again, I mentioned the battery that's in the back with me is the secondary battery that was given to me for the Zebra. Now, I had never taken that battery out anywhere. The Zebra, as you might remember, was given to me right at the tail end of one of the years. Not this past winter, but the winter before. It was given to me just before the winter season. So I didn't really have a whole lot of places I can go with it, during the winter season. So I just never used it. And then last year I didn't use it at all. So it's a brand new battery sitting there. So what I did is I charged it up. It didn't take that long to charge it, so I think they must have had it up at 70 or 80% level when they shipped it, and it's been sitting like that for like a year. And so when it turned green, I turned it off at that point. So I'm assuming I have enough power on that battery, but that battery is not proven to me yet either. All right, because it is essentially a brand new battery in there. So I'm gonna ride this thing until this thing exhausts and then swap the battery out. And then count on that battery getting me back. Now you can go straight or you can take a left. And I know enough to take a left. Now there's more water over here too. Over here on the left side, as you can see. And then over here on the right side. And there's usually people down there fishing. And some people fish right up here on this bridge. They don't go up or down, they just fish right on top like this person here. You know, the thing with fishing, for those who fish, a lot of times the fish want to stay in the shade too. So you almost have to kind of find areas where it's a little shady, where you can kind of throw your line into that area. But when it's wide open, and it's a harder chance of catching anything. People do, but you know, it's harder. That's why I think a lot of times people who are in a boat, like a canoe or something, or a kayak or something like that, John boat, they have a little better chance, I think. And again, even if you do, you know, fishing in the middle of the lake may not be the smartest thing to do. If you're fishing for things like bass or whatever, crappie or whatever, I guess fishing along the edges where shade is available for it, you know, during the afternoons and stuff, you're better off. A lot of times people will fish early in the mornings, you know, as the sun just starts to come out. We do that when we do salmon fishing off of Lake Michigan. You know, we'll go up to Wisconsin even and fish out of Kenosha Harbor or Racine Harbor. That's where we've had our best chance. And we'll get out there before the sun comes out, and we start fishing, and we catch out there. That's how the big fish that I have showed in the picture was actually caught. That's why it's so dark out there when you see it. Wow, she was skating pretty good. All right, anyway, I will put us on hold, and we'll come back a little bit later to talk to you a little bit more as we get close to the end of this battery thing. Right now, I'm sitting at about 13.7 miles. I'm still down only 1 bar, so I don't know how long it'll take before this thing goes down, but I'm gonna guesstimate again 30 miles. So it's gonna be a while. So anyway, stay tuned. I'll be back in a moment. All right, I pulled over just for a second. I want to show you guys where I'm at this point. So if you look at my my information here, hopefully you can focus in right. I've been jumping between 2 bars and 3 bars left. My pedal assist has been between 3 and 4 typically. And let me show you some data here. So I'm currently at 25.6 miles. I'm about ready to head out of Bussy Woods. And so my average speed was 15.4 miles. So I have stayed within the general guidelines of the path. My max speed was 27.4. That was when I was doing that 1 or 2 blocks competing with the cars on the main street. And yeah, so total distance I've been riding this bike now 66 miles, but for this particular ride, 25.6 miles so far. And we still have between 2 and 3. It jumps down to 2 when we're moving. So yeah, so trip meter is 25.6 miles so far. So we're gonna keep going here. I'll move you back up here. And we'll head ourselves out of Bussy Woods, make sure there's nobody behind me. So at this point, if I had to guess, we're gonna break that 30 miles, which is really nice. One thing I did notice though, I've been hit in the face multiple times with lots of little bugs. A lot of them have been going into my eyes too. Even though I'm wearing sunglasses, it gets around there and definitely gets in your eyes too. The little gnats and whatever. So most of the ride I've been throttling, trying to stay within the 15 mile per hour limit, and then pedal on occasion as well. And the pedaling still same thing, staying within 15-16 miles an hour, something like that. My gears have been sitting on 8th gear, 8 out of 8. Pedal assist has been really between 3 and 4, but mostly 3. This power meter down the bottom here, I never mentioned that before. It kind of gives you an idea how much power you're really using. And it's just a rough idea. If you're pedaling real hard, that whole gauge on the bottom would light up, but you can see it bounce back and forth. I have noticed that those who don't have an electric bike, and quite a few electric bikes are out here. Those who don't have it, whenever we go up an incline, you can see them struggling a little bit. When we go up this incline to get to this bridge, you can definitely see them pedaling really hard. So I kind of feel bad having to pass them, but sometimes they're so slow you have no choice but to pass them. All right, now we have people coming one direction, and that's why I cannot pass at this point. Now, as I did that to pass, I hit about 20 miles an hour just to pass. I saw that my battery meter jumped down to 1 bar. It's going back to 2 at this point. So in reality, it's really sitting at 2 bars, I think. Now that stop sign is, I've had multiple people mention in the past, that is just stopping in case there's traffic coming from either direction of cars coming into the forest preserve, but there's absolutely no cars. A lot of times people cannot see what we see, but there's absolutely 0 cars coming either direction. So that oncoming bike rider did the same thing as me. We just went through the stop sign. This is very common out here. But of course, if we see cars coming, if they're coming out of the parking lot or something, we would stop. Nobody wants to get hit. So the question is, will we surpass the 30 miles? I think even on a single bar, we probably still have, 3 to 5 miles left. That's my guess. But we're down to a solid 2 bar at this point. We'll pedal a little bit. I will say I am pedaling a lot more this year on camera than I did last year. So yeah, I think my leg is getting stronger, as the years have gone by since the knee replacement. Being a little lower in weight has helped, trying to keep the blood pressure down too, that has helped. So your health makes a big difference in your ability to ride these bikes. I mean, riding a bike definitely improves your health, I think. I mean, I've seen where my blood pressure was high, let's say in the 145 over over 80 ranges. That's usually where I'm sitting at when I'm just at rest. And I'll measure just before I take the bike out, and then when I get back after pedaling back home, I'll measure again, and I'll be down closer to the 120 over 65 or 70 range, something like that. So definitely your blood pressure does drop when you've had some more strenuous exercise. And I wouldn't even say it's that strenuous, because you know, an e-bike makes it a lot easier for you. And but you know, it's more exercise than just sitting on a chair at home, right? So all right, so anyway, if the battery dies out before I get a chance to show it directly to you, I will definitely put a graphic up and let you know what the ending mileage was and the various statistics. But right now we're at 27.2, and we're still hovering at 1 to 2 bars of battery left. The guy in front of us is on a scooter, or the person in front of us, I should say. Yeah, it's been a nice ride. I went around Bussy Woods twice. Did it twice, and now we're heading back. So it's a good chance when this battery finally goes, hopefully I'll be near the neighborhood of my own. But I don't think it will make it. I think it's gonna die out before I actually make it back, which is why I like having that second battery. Now, one thing that I did note that was interesting is that if I do make it home, that means this bike could definitely do Bussy Woods and not take a second battery out. I could do Bussy Woods at least once, come right back, and I should be okay. I think I could do it since I did Bussy Wood twice now and heading back. But as we know, from this rough point, it's about 9 or 10 miles, I think. I would never make 9 or 10 miles based on what battery we have left. So definitely cannot do 2 times around Bussy and then expect to get here and get back too on a single battery. Not with my weight. Anyway, in case the battery does die out early, let me say this. Again, thank you to Himiway for giving me the opportunity to review the bike. Technically, this would be my final review of the bike. So as I take the bike out again in the future, it is actually for my own general fun. All right, we gotta pass through here. But thanks again. I appreciate you guys watching. I'll put a graphic up as to how it ends and everything. If you like this video, go ahead and hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already done so. I'll talk to you guys next time.